heart of a woman goes forth with the dawn, as a lone bird, soft, swinging, so restless on. Afar over life's turlets and vales does it roam. In the wake of those echoes, the heart calls home. The heart of a woman falls back with the night and enters some alien cage in its plight and tries to forget it has dreamed of the stars while it breaks on the sheltering bars.
Mic check. I don't know if it's loud enough. Can y'all hear me out there? Come on.
Back in, let's have a seat. Right, good people. We're going to go ahead and get started so we can get out of here on time. Owners have been here since probably, 6 o'clock this morning? 8:30, okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. Just love my Detroit family. One of my things that I'm grateful for with Broadside Lotus Press is the exposure it has given me about Detroit's great legacy and great genius that exists everywhere, all around us and abounds. As chairperson, I'm always amazed at the publishing houses that want to publish our poets now from around the world. Major corporations still want to publish our poets but don't want to pay a permission fee. So we have to hold the line and make them pay. Or as Annette would say, well, tell them to find another poem. Because we want to make sure we are honoring the students. Our next guest for this evening is our good brother Bilal, who is a musical explorer, self-taught, who improvises with various different instruments: flute, congas, djembe, keys, piano, trumpet, flugelhorn, saxophone. He has produced over 100 albums published online. He has performed in the past with local artists such as Tracy Evan Curry, the Long Hairs Collective, Joe Riley, Owolabe Abiode, William Copeland. I'm sorry, brother, where you at? He's still here? Oh, there. And Brian Babb, Farouk Zibe, Samaj Brown, Dr. Jamie Brown, Tanisha Butter Soulfly Blackman, 9/11 Collective, Dr. Michael Walker, Eli Wallace, Michael Elliott, Reggie Singleton, Sean Morbay, Kenneth L. Green, Skeeta, C.R. Shelton, Malik Austin, Craig Huckley, Wyatt E. Dragonson, and he is also an abstract visual artist using abstract techniques in various mediums that have been exhibited at the Red Apple Gallery, Columbus Cove, Liberal Arts Gallery, Manila Bay, and other local venues. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our good brother Bilal.
Good evening, good evening. It's definitely an honor to be here celebrating Broadside Lotus Press 60th anniversary, and it's even greater honor knowing all the great poets and artists and activists and everything that I know in Detroit. These are all my superheroes, so to be up here is like, I'm in the back cave or something, It's great. It's great. I get to see all how everything works. I've been part of Broadside Lotus workshops for quite a number of years, and amongst the other things in the community. And people know me. They know me as Bilal. If you know me as Bilal, you know me about 20 years ago. I go by Detroit Blue, Ethan Blue, a whole bunch of other names, But I guess I'm honored to be here. And I'm going to read a little medley and get out of the way. I wrote this one, this first one, and sent it to Mama Dr. Mary. And she said it was right on time when I sent it to her. I had just wrote it and I sent it to her. And she said it was right on time. She was going through a little something. And it's called Sanctuary of the Christmas, a poetic medley. Never speak of struggle, or you may stillbirth of Christmas. Only speak of triumph as you chew the leaf and climb branches high into the altitude and stratosphere of gratitude. Grapefruit, apple blossoms, and blue beaches on a highway just below the River Jordan. Speak of victory like gardens of sweet peppers and sun tea, onions and gardenias, battling for reflections of kente and mudcloth, regally adoring elders in no more transmission. Speak of love like infants swaddling in ancestrally callous fingers and busted knuckles of buckwheat and jasmine, oiled in shea butter to make sensualities complacent in the slow gas of the cameras. Speak of time as relevant as falcons and metropolises perched on steel and concrete precipices, feeding their young with a mob of city ducks who cool on asphalt nets of chicken wire and fiberboard for processed global stewardship of conglomerate culture of synthetic symbiosis. Speak of blessings like baptisms, bar mitzvahs, crossroads and shahada, burning candles, incense, and sage smudge. Darkness comes before a new dawn, for today is every day right now, yesterday, tomorrow, last week. But sunshine endures thunder, lightning, rain, for green pastures and rivers of ancestral cosmic waterways that flood the plains of tyranny to liberate the land shackled by oppression, so all of us people of the sun can be nurtured in the light of much, much brighter days. If my words could be flowers, let there be a bouquet of baby's breath, lilacs, tulips, and Gerber daisies, fresh from the thoughts of spring. I will place them on your table of warm hearts you have healed in a crystal vase, purified with the water of the tears you collected over years of unselfish sacrifice. If my words could be nourishments, I would prepare a feast fit for a queen, full of the first fruits of the spirit that will feed and fill your soul like the ancestors' counsel beyond the veil. I will speak thunder to rain, growing your garden of glorious sacraments. When the sun slumbers on the horizon, I will whisper prayers in the wind to bless all the holy mothers who have birthed the children of heaven onto this earth. As night falls, I will toast the eternal peace of your being with hibiscus and rosebud tea, savoring the flavor of time. In every moment, you are. Choices. I really don't like to choose between the two, but it seems miles are always better. Understands my blues. Coltrane gifts in the riffs, but miles make that horn prove true. In the evening, Sunday afternoons too. Memories that never fade, reminding me of yesterday's wisdom tooth, but I pulled all those out so the pain is just an apparition of a bad vibe that's the dissonance of the last groove. My solo soul is sanctified in the vice, so I played it twice as nice with an encore after the standing ovations.
All right. Thank you so much. Wow, brother right there. Here's a saxophone, brother. Got you on the saxophone. Eat the blues. So our next performer for this evening is a graduate, Martin Luther King Junior Senior High School, Hampton University with a degree in education, as well as California State University, a degree in multi-language learning, as well as Mary Grove College for a master's degree in social work. And just recently completed Harvard University's Women in Leadership program for emerging leaders. We'd like to welcome to the mic, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Nzinga Lejeune.
Hashtag water injustice. Hashtag the pain. Hashtag the sorrow. Detroit no longer has safe water. It's been appointed to foreign powers. Hashtag the guilt. Hashtag the sorrow. We all thought people cared until they saw black instead. Hashtag the water authority. Hashtag the mayor. They put up policies to take our life away. Hashtag the news. Hashtag your pastor. Nobody is listening. Water is life. We can't live without it. Hashtag Twitter, hashtag Facebook. It is 2025, and Flint, Michigan still doesn't trust their water. Hashtag your friends, hashtag your family. Detroit water ain't been safe since emergency management landed. Hashtag the UN, hashtag the world. Water is a human right. We must continue to fight. Hashtag water injustice. I'm honored that we are celebrating poetry in the city of Detroit. And I like to say, a tree by its fruit. It's not to say I'm one of those fruits. I want to share a magazine that's titled Fire Magazine. This was written in 1926. In 1926, Editor Wallace Thurman, Langston Hughes, Zerl Neil Hurston, Aaron Douglas, Richard Bruce Nuggett, Gwendolyn Bennett, and John P. Davis created Fire Magazine. Only one issue was ever made. So I was inspired to write a magazine called Water. And it's free and it's a digital magazine, so if you stop by the table, you can scan the QR code, you can read the last 5 issues. And a lot of poets and creators and painters have contributed to that magazine, so please, thank you again. Just check out that magazine. But something else inspired me to write this magazine. I'll share a little story. On March 30th, 2018, I traveled to New York and participated in the poetry open mic at the Schoenberg Center for Research and Black Culture in Harlem. The MC explained to the crowd he wanted everyone to perform standing on the mural in the atrium, not the auditorium. But I didn't understand why. After I performed my poem, titled Pain, the audience applauded with cheer. I suddenly looked down towards my feet and noticed a beautiful mural with words from Langston Hughes' poem, The Negro Speaks of Rivers. The band just performed the contribution to that song. Beneath the mural is the resting place of the late great poet. I was standing on the ashes of Langston Hughes. So I created this magazine and contribution of that, and I want to celebrate him. So on November 1st, every year, I release this magazine, and it's to celebrate Langston Hughes, one of my favorite poems, but it's to celebrate you all also, so I want to share that. Now, I'm a previous educator in the school system. I was kind of left that field a little bit, and I worked with the Freedom Schools and the co-op camp bookstore here with the youth. But I wrote a poem because after college, my first teaching experience was in Highland Park. I always go where I'm needed, and I was most needed in Highland Park School District. So this poem is called No More Hands. My arms are filled with water bottles. My hands carry books thrown out from the Liberty Elementary, saving bricks from a demolished Highland Park High School. I wish I could hold all the children in my hand. An American city with no public schools. Call this the test run city. Highland Park Public School District 2003. A computer from Cooley High School, a notebook from Chadsey High School. My fingers grabbed the last picture from Miller Middle School. I still remember the hallways with painted murals and pictures of Detroit grades. Call it Black Liberation, Black Bottom in the Paradise Valley. My thumbs bend to hold a drum from Finney High School. My feet walked Coney Street 10 a.m. for work. No bus lines except a 3-mile shuttle downtown for new Detroiters to ride the Key Line. My feet has to hit the pavement downward, past the boulevard, John R. 14 mile to work. Nothing smart but the smart stopping ride at 10 mile. My hands holding 100 DPS schools closed for good. The scariest trip I ever took wasn't the Mack Transit line or climbing the Brewster Project steps, visiting my Spain middle school classmates. Thank God Malcolm left the ladder. I want to share one last poem because I'm always thinking about the youth. Mentoring, working with them. I wrote a new book called Detroit Housewives League. And guess who wrote my foreword? Elijah Shabazz, one of Dr. Betty Shabazz and Malcolm's daughters. And she was inspired and grew up around these women. And I wanted to tell their story and share how phenomenal and brilliant these women were, creating this boycott in the 1930s. My first question I asked her was, what was the most important character a young person should have? And she said self-love. And I implement that with children because, especially with the girls, if they know self-love and who they are, they wouldn't be shooting each other like they did last week. Or fighting each other at the football game that happened yesterday. So this poem is Langston Hughes said, Tired. I'm so tired of waiting, aren't you? For the world to become good and beautiful and kind, let us take a knife and cut the world in two and see what worms are eating at the rind. Boy, by Langston Hughes. And my last poem is in tribute to a young man. His name is Damon Grimes. It's titled Boy. The news reported a boy died today. A boy on a motorbike, a boy growing up in the hood, a boy having fun. Riding free with his cousins, a boy celebrating life, a boy. Hey boy, is what the officer said. It is 2017. I guess they feel the same way. Boy, listen to authority. Do what I say, boy. You will lose your life not listening to authority. Governor Snyder hired 500 new state troopers to patrol Black neighborhoods to oversee Black movement. We already have new Detroit officers. I guess they need overseers too. The news reported a 15-year-old boy died today. They didn't even mention his name. A state trooper murdered a young Black male today because all he saw was a boy. Rest in peace, Damon Grimes. Thank you.
Time for the Zingle of June. That's So our last poet for the evening, before we get back into Mary is our dear Trinity, or Three, who is a Black femme writer, memory worker, and community culturist. Such self-definitions have been shaped through her experiences as a Black American subject and her quest to reclaim herself within the wreckage of colonialism. Through a Black quantum futurist lens, her work explores Black identity, Afro-diasporic, space, time, and ancestral wisdom. Three is currently rooted in Detroit, Michigan, and is one half of the Midnight Care Collective and Black Salt Press, a Black feminist and transformative justice group that utilizes language and regenerative art to shape new ways of being for Detroiters. She's the co-founder of Black Zine Fair, Detroit, and serves as the writer and artist for Riverwise magazine, and a current councilperson at the James and Grace Boggs Center. Ladies and gentlemen, Trinity.
Peace, peace. Toss, my God. Thank you. Well, thank y'all for staying for this beautiful event. So much gratitude to Broadside Press, specifically Chris, Mama and Deb, and Aurora. We had met just last year when Black Thought was emerging, and they were just so gracious to welcome us into this world of Black independent publishing. So it's a great honor to be here. And in line with the meaning of my name, I'll be reading 3 poems. This first one is called Becoming. Today I become beautiful. I looked to nature for guidance, only to reveal the winding paths of contradiction. To be beautiful, you must look into nature's mirror rather than run away. How many times have I turned away from my own image, sent ripples and waves through my rivers because it didn't reflect the self I thought I knew? To be beautiful requires slowing down and focusing attention inward. Supreme clocks that birthed the new cosmos weren't placed in the sky with haste. They say, be not afraid of what hides in your shadows that are constantly being shaped. The trees too hold grief, at times so heavy their roots emerge from earth just to breathe. They say, learn to trust all things, even when they aren't seen. So what am I? Am I beautiful even when my leaves wither with transition? When my image is lost in my own refusal? Am I beautiful like the wind when it whispers my name against rock, molding new matter? Am I beautiful without the past images I used to chase after? Thank you. So this next poem is called Remember. Today I talked God's language. Falling into the tensions of the now, I prayed for the memories and the connections that keep me forward, trusting that everything has been done before. When I write, I go and fetch my soul and the destinies forgotten, lost inside past dreams, embodied in the present, patterns of spirit laced in the eternal. Remember us, remember us, remember us. Remember to walk within the measure of your ancestors, materials of the divine, maps of our beginnings and endings. Remember that if the sea is the sky, then where in your depths may heaven spill? Remember, remember, remember. This last poem is called 26. Teach me inner technologies and circuit my mind back to source. Remind us of how we arrived, dancing with light, and that presence is key towards the silent pauses we desperately seek. Remind me that love is the path and not the dark familiar we've fallen into before, like insulated prayers wedged between fear and faith. Wire my action into divine alignment and ring the common signal to reach beneath the soil and birth the dawn. Thank you.
And so, as she said, we just met last year, and we've been so profoundly grateful for them coming into Broadside's life. We just did an event, I believe it was last January, a wonderful event at the Detroit Public Library, in that beautiful hall, I think it was the third floor, and the library brought out all of Broadside Lotus books. I mean, books I hadn't seen before. It was a marvelous, marvelous exhibit, and so many young press were there. It has not died. Our young people hear us. They are carrying the torch. They are guiding us. They are telling us what to think and talk about next. They are telling us what they are feeling. And they're using the legacy that Broadside and Lotus and Dudley and Naomi left. And they're studying. I know we hear about the ones that don't. There are plenty of them that do. And it was just refreshing to be in space with them. And the concept of care as a central theme above all else. We know poets who struggle with care. We know artists who struggle with care. And so for them to recenter that into the artist space was just phenomenal. And so thank you so much, Trinity, for being here. And before we give our closing remarks, we're going to finish the performances up tonight. Dear Mary and Hay.
Thank you so much. This has been such a wonderful afternoon. We'd like to offer you a piece by one of my favorite musicians in the world, someone who was very dear to me and who was a mentor to me for all the years that I was in his band, and at any time here, the great drummer Roy Brooks, such a wonderful. You can give him a hand if you know who he is. If you don't, look him up. Such a great composing drummer, such a great conceptualist, and this is a piece that he wrote for Black womanhood, and it is called Evanesce, which will be interpreted by our wonderful songbird, Miss Isis DeVille. And please give another hand to the great designer Israel on piano. He gave us also on flute, and our drummer, Luke.
got the wine, but I guess y'all can wine. You all, this is definitely a labor of love. I am not a poet, but I love history. I love my city. I love artists. My brother is here, Ron Rutherford. He's our graphic designer. So the in Arizona is not his fault. Because he's thorough. He's also a fine artist. You can catch him at the Breakfast Club, Monday nights and other places. So keep a lookout for him on social media. I had to give him a shout out to my brother. My mom will be mad. So definitely, we are a volunteer board. Like I said, I've been serving Broadside. I've been serving the legacy for 20 years now. So we don't get paid, but we know how important this work is. And every time I feel weary and say I can't go any further, something happens and be like, this is important, or a young person will come up to me, I'll be someplace else, and somebody will mention I'm with Broadside Press, and a young person, like you said, will come up and just start asking 100 questions. And I was like, gotta keep it going, gotta keep it going. And so I'd like to invite the board up. First, I'd like to invite Dr. Gloria and that house to the stage. And I'd like to also invite the rest of the Broadside Lotus board to the microphone, please. Come on up, Aurora. Oh, there's the seal. All right. That's good. Come on. Y'all believe that Mama Nev said that she wasn't going to say anything tonight? She was going to laugh. Better prepare something because we're going to call you up anyway. But right now,
Everybody here been called.
I know, exactly.
So this is the current Broadside board, or we like to refer to ourselves as the Broadside Lotus collective, because as Chris said, we do all the work, right? This is not a leisurely board, this is a working board. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who came out. We're so happy to see you come and celebrate with us the 60th anniversary. I think I want to mention, no one has mentioned Lucia's particular work for Broadside. Lucia is our book design and layout artist. So all of the books that we have put out recently, especially the ones that are part of the Naomi Long Magic series, they have been designed by Lucia. And I don't think we've mentioned the work of my son, Henry House. But also very important member of our board in terms of his technology, expertise, and background, so what I acknowledge. You all have been able to see the beautiful spirit and generosity of our chair. So many people we want to thank. We want to thank all of the folks who have helped us bring this off, and we'll start out with Rebecca and Joel Mazai, who own this facility. We were involved in a book event with Trinity, whom you just heard a few minutes ago. And we mentioned that we were gearing up for the 60th anniversary, and Rebecca, the owner of Trinosophes, came up and said, come to our place, you'd be welcome to have your event at our place. So that's how we really appreciate her generosity and Joel's generosity of setting up all the sound for us, making sure there are no glitches, just opening up the stage and all of the technology for us. No problems at all, we just had to come in and do what we were here to do. So thanks. We also want to say thanks to our friends who prepared the refreshments for us today. And I wrote down Marishona Barta and Emeka Chi, two very good friends of Aurora. Aurora was able to set up that connection for us. So we appreciate it. And I especially want to say thank you to my dear sister, Marion Hayden, who has just won the Eminent Artist Award. We love her so, and we're so proud of her. She's not only a performer, she's a composer, she's a teacher, she's a mentor, and she's someone who inspires all of us here in the Detroit community, and whenever she's asked to perform, she's ready to come through. And you see, she doesn't just come through, she comes through with jewels and gems, right? She knows what will be the right thing for that moment, and I appreciate her and love her so much. So, have we forgotten anybody?
Everybody out here?
Of course, I started out saying thank you for coming. Yes, all of the representatives of the various small presses here in Detroit who came and brought their books out. I hope you had a chance to wander back there and check out some things. Okay. So, Marion wants me to do. Yes, I got recruited after all, Chris. I said this time I wasn't doing any poetry, right? So, and we put a program together without my doing any poetry. But then Marion said, no, I want you to do the poem that is part of the suite that I wrote. Okay, so anyway, so then Marion is going to introduce the suite, she'll tell you about it, and then I'll do it. Oh. Marion, do you want to introduce the suite that you're going to perform a piece from?
I will. This is a suite from.
This is a piece that I wrote for one of the great grandmothers of African American publishing and poetry. Her name was Phyllis Wheatley, who published the first book by an African American in 1773. So I wrote a whole suite about Phyllis. She's been someone who's in my psyche since I was 9 years old. And my dear friend, Dr. Gloria House-Nebb, has been my collaborator on this and helped me to organize Phyllis's poetry. And then we got to the end of this suite. I wrote 7 pieces, and we got to the end of it. And I said, Phyllis had she had another life before she came across the Middle Passage as a 9-year-old from Senegambia, all the way to Boston, where she was purchased by some Quakers. She had another place, and so she had a name too. And so I went through and thought about some different names to give her. So I came up with a name for her, which is Aminata. And then when I told Gloria this name, she wrote a piece of poetry that is so stirring, that is such a lovely piece, and I asked her if she would mind doing it for us today, because it's one of the things I love most dearly in the world. So
poem for Phyllis Wheatley. Aminata. Aminata. Phyllis, forerunner, luminary of African genius, 18th century enslaved American revolutionary. What was your true name? Your true name? What lovely resonant sounds welcomed you into this world? We're going to say it was Aminata. Aminata. Aminata, name luscious like a succulent fruit, sweet like coconut juice, floating like a river. Aminata, Aminata, blessed child, brilliance shining from your eyes like morning sunlight on water. Your Senegalese father's tears are still flooding his eyes as you scurry to serve tea to Boston society. Aminata, your body was owned, but your mind, it was your very own. Roaming the universe, conversing in the language of ancients, your spirit engaging many worlds at once. A musician of words, conjurer of heavenly images. You, Aminata, were the first African-American artist preaching truth to power from your captivity. Preaching truth to power from your captivity.
Love you. Love you.
He sees through stone. He has the secret eyes, this old black one who under prison skies sits pressed by the sun against the western wall, his pipe between purple gums. The years fall like overripe plums, bursting red flush on the dark earth. His time is not my time, but I have known him in a time gone. He led me trembling cold into the dark forest, taught me the secret rites, to make it with a woman, to be true to my brothers, to make my spirit drink the blood of my enemies. Now black cats circle him, flash white teeth, snarl at the air, mashing green grass beneath shining muscles, ears peeling his words. He smiles, he knows the hunt, the enemy. He has the secret eyes, he sees through stone.